everybody, and welcome back to the Hangout Spot where you already know it's Real Talk Sports Talk, live from my man cave. It's your boy Johnny, and let's talk football because we are finally here, and I'm pumped up. The final game of the NFL season for all the marbles, Super Bowl 58. The stage is set. Las Vegas, Allegiant Stadium, two heavyweights going at it for a chance to be called Super Bowl champions. And I think it's going to be a great game. You got the Kansas City Chiefs, the best in the AFC, battling it out with the best from the NFC, the San Francisco 49ers. And although these two teams don't regularly play each other during the regular season, they do have some history, especially in this game. In fact, this is a Super Bowl rematch of the game 4 years ago, Super Bowl 54, a game that the Chiefs came back late in the fourth quarter to win 31-20 over the Niners that day. Kyle Shanahan was the head coach, so he's going to be looking for some revenge against Andy Reid. And this is going to be a great matchup. You have a Kansas City defense that is second in the NFL in total points allowed. In fact, in the AFC Championship game against the juggernaut Ravens offense, they only gave up 10 points. Forced 3 turnovers against a San Francisco offense that was ranked third in the NFL in scoring. What's going to give in this game? Not to mention, you got Patrick Mahomes, who's also 3-0 in his career against the Niners. I'm just throwing that out there. Don't kill the messenger. Anyhow, let's get into the Niners first. Like I said, man, this is a game that has stars all over the field. And for the Niners, their biggest star is Christian McCaffrey. It doesn't get any better than him at running back. He can run the football. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. In my opinion, he should win Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, when you put up over 2,000 yards, both rushing and receiving, over 20 touchdowns combined, that is special. He's the ultimate dual threat. And when he rushes the ball for over 75 yards, the Niners are 12-1 this season. So it's going to be vital that they get him going. And he hasn't disappointed in the playoffs either. In 2 games, he's rushed for 188 yards and 4 touchdowns. 11 catches for 72 yards. He's the engine that sparks this train. So they're going to look to get him involved early. The more touches he gets, the better the opportunities for the Niners are for him to potentially hit a home run. He's that type of a player. Then you have Brock Purdy, who's had a sensational year. His first full year as a starter, he's going to a Super Bowl. This game is huge. This is a huge statement game for Purdy. For all those fans out there that say he's just a system quarterback, this is his opportunity to prove them wrong and win the biggest game of the season against the best quarterback in the league. Regardless of how he plays, though, he's had a great season. He's going to garner some MVP votes. I mean, he passed for over 4,200 yards, 31 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions, and he led the NFL in total QBR amongst all quarterbacks. He's been a little pedestrian in the postseason in 2 games, especially in the first half. He's played a lot better in the second half of football games. He has 519 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. The most impressive part about Brock Purdy is what he did in the NFC Championship game, in my opinion, which is use his legs to garner chunk plays and first downs. That is how you shed that label of being a system quarterback, when you can make plays like that and open up the football field. And of course, he has to be able to get the ball into his playmakers' hands, and he has a lot of playmakers. George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel. Don't get any better than those 3. Combined in the season, they had 20 touchdowns combined. So again, he has been able to spread the ball around the field. In the playoffs, they've been equally as good. Ayuk, 6 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown. Kittle, 6 catches for 108 yards and a touchdown. And Deebo Samuel, who potentially wasn't even going to play the last game, did play. He's had 10 catches for 113 yards, and they will use him sparingly and occasionally in the running game as well. So it'd be interesting to see how Kyle Shanahan draws that up, trying to get him the ball it's always good to get him the ball, especially in space. Again, he is the type of player that can hit a home run anytime he touches the football. But as good as the Niners are on offense, their defense is, in my opinion, equally good. They are a top 3 defense. Their secondary, in my opinion, is the best secondary in football. They are first in interceptions with 22. So if you're not careful, they'll pick you off. They are 6th in sacks. They have 48 sacks on the season. That was led by Nick Bosa, who had 10.5 sacks. And he's also been good in the postseason. He has 2 sacks in 2 games, but he has countless pressures. So it's going to be key that he plays a big game, and we'll get into that a little bit further along when we talk about the keys to victory. Now we got the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Kansas City Chiefs defense is really good. They're one of the best in the league. So the key here is to score enough points so that you feel comfortable enough that your defense is going to take over, especially late in the games. When the Chiefs score 21 points or more this year, they're 10-0. As good as the defense is, though, we all know whose team this belongs to. This is Patrick Mahomes' team. The player that is the best quarterback in the league, the player right now that has the most potential down the road, not now, down the road, to unseat Tom Brady as the greatest quarterback that ever lived. He is that dude. He's that good. If he wins this Super Bowl, this will be his 3rd Super Bowl, 2 of them being back-to-back, and he's not even 30 years old yet. Insane. And this was supposed to be a down year. If you look at his stats, this was his worst statistical season. And this season is some quarterbacks' best season of their career. That's how good Patrick Mahomes is. He still passed for almost 4,200 yards. And this is with a receiving core that led the NFL in drop passes, especially in the first half of the season. He had a lot of interceptions. He had 14, but there were a few. There were about 2 or 3 that I remember that went right through the hands of receivers. That wasn't fair to be called on the quarterback, but that's how it works. Still threw for 27 touchdowns. And in the postseason, when the lights are brightest, that's when he plays his best. This postseason not being any different. In 3 games, he has a QBR of over 100, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. And he's also been doing pretty well with his legs. He's rushed for 75 yards. So he will step up and pick up that first down, especially in these type of games that matter the most. Like I said, man, he's that dude. He's fun to watch. He really is. He's great. And then you got Travis Kelce, one of the best tight ends that ever did it. Great regular season. Put aside all the Taylor Swift stuff. He performs on the football field. I mean, just this postseason alone, 23 catches, 262 yards and 3 touchdowns. He is Patrick Mahomes' main target. He's most comfortable with him, and he doesn't even need to be that open. If he's a little bit open, Mahomes will put it where it needs to be, and Kelce more than likely will make the play. And that's crazy because you got to think that defensive coordinators are keying in to try to stop Kelce, but it always seems like this guy is open countless times throughout the course of the game. Kudos for Andy Reid for putting him in those positions to make plays. Andy Reid is one of the best that ever did it. Calling plays. He's won multiple Super Bowls. He's been to multiple Super Bowls. Isaiah Pacheco is a spark plug of a running back. He's averaging 85 yards on the ground. He has 3 touchdowns, 1 in each game. You got to think they're going to try to get him going. He's a violent runner. I love to watch him run. He has the ability to bowl somebody over and ignite the offense. So you get the sense that they're going to try to get him involved in this game. But like I said, the defense here, it's key. They're elite. They held Lamar Jackson, who more than likely is going to be the MVP, to just 274 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 bad interception into triple coverage. They forced 3 turnovers. They sacked them 4 times. One of them was a strip sack. Another fumble was just a great play in the end zone with Zay Jones trying to get the ball over the plane, and it was punched out perfectly by the cornerback Snead. This secondary, they don't have a lot of interceptions, but they do try to make the most of their opportunities to get fumbles. The Niners are going to have to be careful. They can stop the run too. The Ravens came in as the best team running the football, the best rushing team. They only held them to 89 yards, 20 yards solely for their running back Gus Edwards. That's going to be key here because, again, you're going up against the best running back in the league, Christian McCaffrey. The matchup that I'm looking forward to the most is the Niners offensive line, one of the best in the league, against the Chiefs defensive line, which is one of the best in the league. Statistically, the Niners offensive line only gave up 34 sacks. That was sixth best in the NFL. And the Chiefs defense, their defensive line was second in sacks with 57. That was led by Chris Jones, an absolute monster, a game wrecker, and Karlaftis, who had 10.5 sacks. And he also has been good in the playoffs. He has 2.5 sacks. Chris Jones, countless pressures, especially against the Ravens. This defense can play. So it's going to be key that the Niners don't make mistakes with the football. Keys to victory for the Niners. Just like any team that plays against Patrick Mahomes, the defensive line has to show up and apply some pressure. Still may not be enough because, again, he's one of the better improvisers. He can throw from any arm angle, moving to his left, moving to his right, underhanded, you name it. Now he'll step up in the pocket, he'll take off, he'll pick up 8-9 yards, move the chains. It's going to be tough, but still, you have to apply pressure because he's also human. And sometimes these quarterbacks, when they're pressured, they'll be inaccurate and they can potentially throw the ball to the other team. And this is, again, a Niners secondary that led the NFL in interceptions. So they got to apply pressure. Try to rattle Mahomes as best as you possibly can. For the Niners offense, they got to start fast. I mean, again, the last 2 games in the playoffs, only 7 points each first half. Against the Lions, they were down 24-7. They can't afford that to happen in this game. If they are down 24-7 against Mahomes and company, things are not going to look good in the second half for them. They got to start fast. They got to score points early. They got to get some momentum on the offensive side of the football, which will spark, in my opinion, the defense to play a lot more inspired against one of the best to ever do it. Brock Purdy, this is his first big game under the big lights. Huge game for him. He's got to play a clean game, no turnovers, no sloppy plays. Take what the defense gives you. Run the football if the pocket collapses. Pick up those first downs. Spread the ball around like you did during the regular season. Find ways to get McCaffrey and Samuel the ball in open space. Bubble screens. Sweeps. Pitches. He has to play well. I mean, he's the key. He's going up against the best quarterback in the league. He has to be able to hold his own. And then last but not least, I don't know if this is possible, but watch Travis Kelce. Key in on him. Double team him if you possibly can. If he's going to get 11, 12 catches for a touchdown or 2 touchdowns, whatever it is, it's going to be a long day for the Niners, in my opinion. You got to find a way to allow some of these other younger receivers, the Rashee Rices, if Kadarius Toney plays, those guys, find a way to take Kelce out and make them beat you. For the Chiefs, their defense just has to do what it's done this entire playoff run. And kudos to them. They face some top offenses. The Dolphins, the Ravens, and now the Niners. This is the second game in a row where they play against an offense that is top 3 in the NFL. They got to continue to do what they've been doing. Apply pressure with the front 4. And the secondary has to play stout and take advantage of turnover opportunities. The cornerbacks of the Chiefs against the Niner wide receivers and tight end with Kittle. That's going to be an interesting matchup to see. Again, those guys make plays. They got to limit the amount of big plays they give up and try to turn the football over. Even though they didn't have a lot of interceptions in the regular season, fumbles count as turnovers as well. So make sure you limit the amount of big plays by this Niner offense. Mahomes has to start fast, score early, get the running game going, in my opinion, and maintain that lead. Let's not forget, especially in the playoffs, the Niners are a good second half team. So if you're going into the second half with a lead, you got to make sure you come out and keep your foot on the gas pedal. If not, they will come back on you. And as far as Patrick Mahomes, just keep being Patrick Mahomes, meaning you haven't thrown any interceptions in the postseason. Don't start to do so now. Don't make any bad decisions. Take what the defense gives you. Wide receivers, They led the league in drop passes in the regular season, but towards the ending part of the season and the postseason, they've been a lot better. In fact, they haven't really dropped any big passes. Don't start now. You cannot revert to what you were in the regular season. Play a clean game. Make sure you catch the football. Trust that Mahomes is going to put it where it needs to be. Get where you need to be. Make plays, especially if they try to take Travis Kelce out of the game. These wide receivers, the Rashee Rices, they have to step up and play a vital part in this game. If the Chiefs score over 21 points with their defense, there's a good chance they're going to win this game. And those are my keys to victory and my preview. Now what happens? What's my prediction? Well, this is a tough one because, and it should be. I mean, this is the Super Bowl, right? The two best teams going at it, right? For a chance at a championship. So this should be a tough decision. And it is. I think both these teams are worthy. Two heavyweights. In my opinion, it's going to go down to the wire. I think it's going to be a fantastic game like the last few years have been. I think it's going to depend on a late game turnover. Whoever makes that mistake, likelihood will be the team that's not going to win, especially if it's the Niners. Because if you make that mistake and you put the ball into Mahomes' hands, it's going to be night-night for you guys. So they got to make sure that they don't make that mistake late in the game. The Niners have a lot of stars on offense. They have a really good defense. The Chiefs have Mahomes and Kelce, and they also have a great defense. I realistically don't know. I don't. The only thing that worries me about the Niners is this is Purdy's first Super Bowl, his first full year starting. Will the lights be too bright for him? We'll see. We all know they're not going to be bright for Mahomes or Kelce or Andy Reid. Kyle Shanahan, a lot of pressure. I don't think he wants to start 0-2 in his Super Bowl career like his dad, Mike Shanahan, did. Remember, Mike Shanahan lost his first 3, I believe, before he finally won back-to-back Super Bowls. So he's going to want to break that trend. But at the end of the day, it's very difficult for me to bet against Patrick Mahomes. I'm sorry. He's that guy. He is today's modern-day Tom Brady, Joe Montana in these games. I can't bet against him. I can't. I think that they're going to win a close game. 23-20, the Chiefs are going to pull this one out. Mahomes will win back-to-back. He'll win his third. And then people will start talking about him, whether it be premature or not, him potentially unseating Brady as the GOAT. Again, I think he has a long way to go before he does, but he'd be well on his way if he wins this game. And that is my prediction, even though it's going to probably upset some 49er fans. But listen, I think if you were in the same position as me and we were playing and my team was playing against the Chiefs, you'd probably pick them too. Don't lie. Anyhow, at the end of the day, I just want to see a great game just like any football fan. The Super Bowl parties are going to be live and well. They're always that much better when the game is better. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Who are you picking? I'm curious to see what everybody's thoughts are in this game. And as always, if you're new to watching my videos, please subscribe. That way you can come back more often, hang out with your boy here. Lots of cool stuff coming in the next few weeks, especially around the Jets, offseason, free agency draft. So make sure you tune in. But as always, I appreciate you watching. I appreciate your support. This is your boy Johnny signing out from the Hangout Spot. Enjoy the Super Bowl. And I'll talk to everybody soon.